Monday, September 25, 2023, regular meeting of the Paris City Council is hereby called to order at 5:30 p.m. For this meeting, there is a quorum of the council present. Item number 2, Mr. Gene Anderson will deliver the invocation. The United States Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Pankage. Please rise.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you for each and every blessing. We thank you for your divine intervention, Father, to keep us safe and to deliver us, Father, out of the hands of those who would harm us. We pray for our community, Father, that we might be united in our effort to make this a better place to live and to be. And we pray, Father, that we would serve you and glorify your name. For I ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Item number 4, the Citizens Forum. Persons desire to address the council must limit their presentation to more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. Excuse me. If necessary, the City Council may convene an executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item on this agenda. The public forum is now open. If there is anyone who wishes to address the council, please state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, Citizens Forum is now closed. Consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are approved by a single action of the council, with such approval applicable to all items appearing on the consent agenda. A council member may request any item to remove from the consent agenda and consider it as a separate item. Does any member wish to remove any item from the consent agenda for discussion? If not, is there a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Regular agenda, item number 22, discuss, continue the public hearing, and act on the ordinance considering the petition of the City of Paris for a comprehensive planned amendment from low-density residential LDR to medium-density residential MDR in the Spring Lake Addition, Block 1 through 6, from East Price Street to Cherry Street, between Northeast 28th Street and Northeast 30th Street, containing approximately 15 acres. Staff?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem, members of City Council. I think is the appropriate action to remove this item from the table first, or
It was continued, it was not tabled, is my understanding.
That's correct.
Okay, very good. There was a discussion at our meeting a month ago, approximately, on this location. The direction received from council at that time for the amendment to the comprehensive plan was the removal of all properties facing on what would be the west side of Northeast 30th Street. That is what you have before you this evening. We have made a revision, corrected the ordinance, and reduced the total acreage as a part of the proposal. This is consistent with the input that the council received at that time, and we are recommending, based on the direction again from City Council, that you approve the change in the land use map this evening for the future land use from LDR to MDR.
I will continue the public hearing and ask for anyone wishing to speak about this item to please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Wayne Kirby, live at 390 30th Northeast, and I was the one that had made the suggestion that this proposal that he has just presented be done, and I thank him for doing that, and I like the way that looks, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Is there any discussion? All right, will I hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve agenda item 22 as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. 6-0. Item number 23, discuss and conduct a public hearing, act on the ordinance considering the petition of George Preston for a change in zoning from a general retail district, GR, to two-family dwelling district, 2F, in the city of Paris, block 112, lot 25A, LCAT 15752. Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. This item has several pieces of approval as a part of it. The action tonight is before the council is for the rezoning. We're also in the process of reviewing a plat, and a previous variance was approved by the Board of Adjustment for a reduced lot depth, and also another provision for the setback to the site for the front yard. There was some conditions that the Board of Adjustment placed on that, and that was that all minimum required off-street parking areas, spaces in the driveway areas be contained wholly on the property. And the second condition had to do with that there be no on-street resident or visitor parking. Council may remember we just recently reduced the speed of this street. It's a sharp curve as you round the street from Sherman moving on to 14th Street, and that was something that they approved as a condition, and that signage be installed in there at the cost of the applicant. So that we'll actually end up taking that item before the Traffic Commission in the future to get their recommendation for final approval of ordinance by the council in the future. So this is not the last step, but it's the actual rezoning that will allow the property to be changed from general retail and for the allowance of a duplex to be built. We have other residences along this block. They were not built as retail on the backside of Kroger. They were all done as residences. We also see the potential in the future for additional medium density development in the future, potentially to the southeast. So with this, the staff both in the P&Z are recommending your approval of the rezoning this evening.
I will open up the public hearing and ask for anyone wishing to speak about this item to please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
I'm George Preston. I own the property. I bought the property back in 1993, and I have requested that it be changed from the retail down to a duplex because I believe that's the highest and best use for this property. And I will, if you don't, I don't know how much time you allot me. A couple of minutes, is that what all you asked?
Yes, sir. You're
Okay. I have gone through some of the figures that I think that would be beneficial to the city of Paris as well as to me as the owner, you know, and you have this property now that I've had for 30 years, and your income, your taxable taxes due on this property is $12.80 for last year. The total amount due on the property to all taxing entities is $59.37. Now then, in 1985, and I haven't had the money to build this duplex or come before you Now, in 1985, I bought a corner lot on the corner of 19th and Pine Bluff, and I built 1905 and 1907 duplex. In that duplex, do you know what your income was for the city last year? Was $408.11, which should equate to the same amount because I will be getting about the same amount of rent from this place as I'm getting from the one on Pine Bluff. And the total amount of taxes paid to all entities on 1905 Pine Bluff last year was $1,893.52. Of course, what have I gotten out of the East Sherman property, or corner of 14th and East Sherman? For 30 years, I've gotten zero. I've paid nothing but taxes and maintained it in accordance with the city's rules and conditions. So I think it's a win-win for everybody in this situation, and I'm asking, requesting that you approve it and allow me to build this duplex and change the zoning necessary for me to be able to do that. I'll be happy to try to answer any questions that anybody would have.
Thank you, Mr. Preston.
You're welcome.
I will now close the public hearing. Is there any discussion? Will I hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 24, discuss and conduct a public hearing and act on the ordinance considering the petition of Zachary Bergenholtz Invest Fannin LLC for a change of zoning from a one-family dwelling district SF2 to a two-family dwelling district SF in the Gibbons Braden Addition Block 16, lots 4, 5, and 6, LCAT 103-421, 103-422, and 103-423, located at 1121 Southeast 17th Street. Mr. Mack.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. The request before you this evening gained the support of the Planning and Zoning Commission. It was observed that this area is slightly in a transitional condition. Their property is going through a replat process to make this property rezoning for one new duplex. It will be located outside of the floodway. This has floodplain property. We've been working carefully between the applicant's engineer, our city engineer, and they will be able to successfully elevate and locate this property out of the floodplain without having to bring in additional fills. And so this is a use that appears to fit with conditions of the area, and both Planning and Zoning Commission as well as staff are recommending your approval this evening, rezoning to 2F.
I will open up the public hearing and ask for anyone wishing to speak about this item to please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing. Is there any discussion?
We already have duplexes in like 12, 13, I'm not sure about 14, 15, 16, 17, so it's already pretty much in that area already, right?
We do have
Yeah, some complexes and
Yeah,
different
we
things.
also have, not far from here, we have several single-family dwellings on a site here that are affordable housing units owned by our housing authority.
Yep.
This is a difficult site, that's why it was never built on. They've come up with a good plan for infill, and again, we are also looking at entertaining this as a part of our 5 and 5 program as well, in addition to another site that they also have control of up in the northeast part of town.
Any further discussion? Larry, a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 25, discuss and conduct a public hearing and act on the ordinance considering the petition of Ronnie Inns on behalf of Pine Creek Rentals LP for a specific use permit, SUP, for trailer sales in a commercial district in the City of Paris, Block 250, Lot E, PT of 16, and EPT of 17, LCAT 108849, located in the 800 block of Northeast Loop 286. Mr. Mack.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. We have a generalized site plan for this special use permit this evening by Mr. Enns. We will be working with him following the approval of the use in this location. It will have access off the frontage road, Loop 286. This is intended to be operated as a trailer sales with outdoor storage and display, but also as a corporate office for their facility. We did have Maureen Hammond with PEDC speak up at the public hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission, in support of their project. Staff will continue working with the applicant regarding the platting of the property and approval of a detailed engineered site plan to make this work on this site. This is an appropriate use in this location. We are taking this through as a requirement of our ordinance for special use, which is the reason for the public hearing this evening. So both the P&Z and the staff are recommending approval, including 3 conditions that we have included for consideration this evening. First, to be approval of the civil construction improvements by the city engineer, fire marshal, and the planning and community development director prior to issuance of site civil and building permits. Number 2, be approval of a new driveway access permits from TxDOT prior to all permit approvals for construction. The reason for that is we were not able to engage specifically with TxDOT at the early stages on this, so we defer to their approval for the driveway locations in this particular site. And thirdly, that there be full conformity with all other requirements of the zoning ordinance, including Section 12-101 of the subdivision ordinance and all applicable city development guideline standards.
I will now open up the public hearing and ask for anyone wishing to speak about this item to please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Ronnie Enns. I'm at 141 Cascades Boulevard in Paris, Texas. This is my family's business. We have a business already here in Paris. We're just trying to relocate it and then also build a larger, nicer building so that we can use it as a corporate headquarters. We have multiple locations throughout the state of Texas, and this is where some of our administrative team will office out of. So be a bit more than a trailer dealership, so when you're thinking of a trailer sales, it's going to look a little different than what you might see in normal. So if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Yen. I will now close the public hearing. Is there any discussion?
I spoke with Maureen on this issue and was very happy to see that y'all were moving your headquarters here. I believe it's going to provide additional jobs as well as to be a company headquarters, if I'm not mistaken, for their operation, and they ever growing with our trailer industry in the local area. So happy to see them. Appreciate you reaching out to Maureen and getting her behind it too as well.
Yeah. Is there any further discussion? Will I hear a motion?
I make the motion that we approve the petition for Ronnie Enns on behalf of Pine Creek Rentals with the 3 conditions that the city and staff, that the city staff recommends.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 26, discuss and consider all matters incident and related to the issuance and sale of the City of Paris, Texas General Obligation Refunding Bonds, Series 2023, including the adoption of the ordinance authorizing the issuance of such bonds and establishing procedures and delegating authority of the sale and delivery of such bonds. Staff, your presentation, please.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, I'll start this, and I'm going to then turn over to Mr. Friedman, our financial advisor tonight. Back in July 2013, the city approved a bond of about $34 million for water and wastewater lines. That had a 20-year note on it. It is now callable this year. Typically after 10 years, you can call the bond. And reasons you would call the bond is if interest rates are good to where you can actually refinance and get better interest rates. Also, too, we have the ability to also restructure the bond. And so we're actually we discussed it with the council back on June 12th. Obviously, we could refinance it as is, and we would save some money, about $105,000 a year. But we could also restructure it, add 10 more years to it, and that would save about $1 million a year of existing revenue. That does come with an ultimate price tag long term. That would add about $4 million over the life of the 20-year bond we take out. But again, when you take into consideration today's rates on the wastewater treatment plant project, staff's recommendation is that we do refinance and restructure, adding 10 more years to save approximately $1 million roughly to each year going forward. And that will help go a long way towards our rate adjustments as we look at phase 2 for the wastewater treatment plant project. So with that, we are now to that point. City Council did ask that we bring this back to you with that direction in mind. So we are now at that point of the year to look at calling this bond and refinancing and restructuring it. And so I'm going to turn over to Mr. Friedman to talk about the specifics of doing that.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name's Andrew Friedman with Samco Capital Markets. Just as Mr. Path just described, the action presented for you all this evening is to authorize the sale of these bonds. Now, we have not priced the bonds. The method that we are proposing is what's known as a delegated sale method, where you as a council authorize the issuance of the bonds in the future and delegate your authority to the city manager and director of finance so that when we go to market and we receive bid to underwrite to sell those bonds, if we meet the parameters that are within the ordinance before you all, then they have the authority to then enter into that bond purchase agreement and sell them. It allows for flexibility. Typically when we sell bonds, and we've not used that here, many issuers throughout the state of Texas do use this method. You have to price on the day that the city council meets, regardless of whether or not that is a good day in the financial markets, which is of course impossible for anybody to guess. So this will provide that flexibility. The intention right now is as soon as we get the 2022 fiscal year-end audit, we'll be in a position to go through and actually execute and price the bonds, which right now could be roughly the end of October. Is certainly the hope and desire. So we're not locking in interest rates today, but you would be delegating your authority for the city manager and director of finance to act on your behalf when we get to pricing. And so the other important aspects, that's not just a carte blanche that you all are giving. You're setting forth parameters that the financing has to meet in order for them to even enter into that bond purchase agreement. And they're set forth in Section 3 of the ordinance before you all. And importantly, we cannot issue more than $22,500,000 in bonds, meaning we're not issuing new debt. This is refunding up to what's outstanding. That we're setting a maximum maturity of 2043, meaning extending exactly what Mr. Pass said, going out that additional 10 years to help provide some of that capacity for utility debt, and that the true interest cost on the bonds will not exceed 5%. So if the market moves away from us further than it already has, because it's been a tough several months, and especially in a tough week last week in the market, if interest rates come in over 5%, they don't have the authority to enter into that bond purchase agreement. We would have to come back to you all to either reauthorize a parameter or look at alternative options or wait until rates come back down. So with that, Grayson, if I've left anything out, or Gene, otherwise I'm happy to answer any and all questions that you have.
Questions? Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
Is there any discussion? Okay, I will hear a motion to adopt an ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of the City of Paris, Texas General Obligation Refunding Bonds, Series 2023.
Second.
motion.
need the motion.
Oh, so moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries, 6-0.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Item number 27, discuss and act on a temporary waiver of the City of Paris Personal Manual, Section 14.03 in 2023 for certain Paris Police Department personnel. Staff?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. As you're aware, we're down about 20 vacancies in the patrol division of the police department. As we get close to the end of the calendar year, this is when we see a lot of vacations occurring across the board for employees. Because by our policy, Section 14.03, you're allowed to have accrue up to a maximum of 40 hours, and so anything beyond that is lost. And so we do see a lot of employees using that, but right now, given we're down so many officers and trying to maintain shifts, one of the requests of the department, I know Chief Salter's here, Chief Salter, Assistant Chief Tuttle, and the captains came to myself and Ms. Collard, our HR director, and requested that we might consider a waiver of this, again, this year, for all those under captain level in the patrol division and our police officer rank in the CID. Those are the positions that are covering our shifts out there. So this way, if anyone, in order to maintain shift, if anyone's required to work, they don't lose their vacation. We have some employees, we have about 5 employees that this may impact. The total cost is about $10,000 if everyone doesn't take their vacation. We do assume some will still take it, and we encourage them to take their vacation, so we're trying to make it to where they can, but just in case they have to cover shift, we didn't want them to be penalized and lose that vacation. So with this, we would ask for a waiver of this section, again, temporarily for those patrol division below the rank of captain and CID of a police officer rank, and then have that paid out beyond 40 days at the end of the calendar year, if there's any hours beyond that. I'll answer any questions anyone has.
Is there any discussion?
So they'll, at the end of the year, they will be paid what's over their 40 days?
Yes, if they had 42 days, they'd get 2 days of pay, instead of losing those 2 days.
Grayson, just as a note, I just want to say I appreciate you guys looking into this because, quite frankly, I mean, it's hard to find employees all around. Yeah. So, and this is a specialized field, so we need these officers, and we need to be safe. So, appreciate you guys looking into that, and I commend you guys for kind of, trying to look outside of the box and really discover, like, how can we retain our employees? So, I appreciate that.
Yeah, the police management have given me we've worked out a lot of good measures where we have implemented or we're implementing, and so this is one of the things that we knew council needed to approve that I have the authority to approve.
Yeah, and it's not their fault that we're shorthanded, so they shouldn't be losing time, first and foremost. And, secondly, I worked in manufacturing for 33 years, and we didn't have that situation where you could sell back that time. I think it was like 4 years that I had to take off the whole month of December because didn't take off my vacation. So, but what I've seen is that this can kind of couple as an incentive. You can work and it's really overtime, but you still get paid that time that you can't make. And, like, where I worked, you have to have a minimum amount of employees to get the orders out and to protect the city in this case. So we need to do this.
Yeah.
We need to do this.
Yeah, also, we don't want this to be the long-term solution because we want you to take your vacation. We don't want this to be a Christmas bonus every year because that has a detrimental effect of burnout. People, they're thinking, I'm just going to pound through it and get paid at the end of the year. Well, that can have a detrimental effect to the operation. But this is a situation where we knew that's not the officers are trying to do. They're trying to keep us safe. And so which means having to work shifts, so we don't want them to be penalized for keeping us safe and losing this. So.
Well, I didn't want to say that part that you just brought up because I feel like we have good management, great management, that y'all will stay on top of this, but people will take advantage of situations like this, and we know that. But I feel like y'all will manage that very well.
Yeah.
All right, is there any further discussion? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
The second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 28, discuss and act on an ordinance amending section 2.10.034A, seniority pay of Chapter 2, Police of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Paris, Texas, making other findings and provisions related to the subject, providing a repealer clause, a severability clause, a savings clause, and declaring an effective date.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, I'm going to talk about this one and cover the next one too. They both relate to one another, but this is the police-related item. As you're aware, back on September 11th, City Council approved the proposed 23-24 budget, and as part of that, that included some pay adjustments for base pay and seniority pay for our police officers and firefighters would be the next item there. Now, under civil service law, these have to be amended via ordinance. So we've got everything in place for October 1st. This is one of the final cleanup steps, formal steps in order to make that official through code, is to amend our ordinance, section 2.10.034A, and then the next item, 6.02.004A for the fire department, so we have the new seniority scales for the police and fire. With this, we're also going from a biennial increase to annual increases. So instead of every 2 years, waiting for 2 years to get a pay raise, you get one every year. That was part of the plan in the budget. So this just makes it formally adopted in the code.
Is there any discussion? Larry, motion?
Make a motion to approve as presented.
The second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 29, discuss and act on the ordinance amending section 6.02.004A, seniority pay of Chapter 6, Fire Prevention and Protection of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Paris, Texas, making other findings and provisions related to the subject, providing a repealer clause, a severability clause, a savings clause, and declaring an effective date. Staff.
The same.
Is there any discussion? Will there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 30, discuss and act on a resolution nominating a person or persons to serve on the board of the Lamar County Appraisal District for a term of office of 2 years beginning January 1, 2024, making other findings and provisions related to the subject and declaring an effective date. Ms. Ellis?
Okay. Every 2 years, the city's asked to provide the chief appraiser a nominee to sit on the board. There's 5 spots on the Lamar County Appraisal District, but there's 12 taxing entities. So tonight, we're just asking you to come together and nominate a person to serve on the board so that we'll submit it, and then they will turn around and send a ballot back to you all. I think prior to October 15th is what I think, and then you would vote. So we just need you all to make a nomination or nominees and then vote on a nominee.
So all 4 of these people are coming off?
Yes, every year they have, there's 5. There should be 5 on there. Or one of them chose not to,
Okay.
yeah. So every 2 years, all 5 of them come up at the same time.
Is this appraisal review board or just the big board?
The big board.
I think there's a lot of, which the gentleman spoke earlier about his property taxes. Obviously, we have no jurisdiction to change anybody's property tax other than the rate, but the appraised value of the properties, which we've seen significantly increase in the last couple of years, a lot of those are warranted. One of the favorite questions they ask if you go in to ask for a different property valuation is, would you sell your home, business, land, whatever, for the price that they come in? And in my case, I actually had a case where my home was appraised significantly more valuable than what it was. And as a licensed appraiser in the state of Texas, I can tell you it was that way. And I told them, I said, yeah, I mean, I would sell it any day of the week for that price. And they all looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, well, here's the problem. And there was an appraisal district doesn't have certified general appraisers, not all of them. They have kind of an algorithm in a computer system of some kind that they work through the comptroller. So I think it would be beneficial to provide the board with not nominate myself, and I do not want it. But I think it's something that we should look at to put someone that has knowledge, true knowledge, and are in that industry, whether it be some kind of real estate person, an appraiser, that's in that business to try to educate a little bit on right now, our appraisal district, in my opinion, for the most part, has done the right thing, but there's still a few of those things out there that are, and I went through it with mine, and that's why I'm saying, you know, we're not looking at apples to apples sometimes on these valuations. Some of us live in historic homes, and obviously those historic homes are 100 years old, but they've been updated. So an effective age is different. And same thing with houses that are 40 years old. There's an effective age. And people don't understand that, and I think having somebody on that board that could help maybe massage some of that. Also, too, there's some values out there that are way, way below average. It would help the guys that are having to pay the higher property taxes and on the commercial side. I don't know who that person would be, and it's a feat, and it's something that nobody probably wants to take on right now because there's a lot of heat.
Well, you're making a great case for me to nominate you.
I'm not. I can tell you. I can tell you. I've got a bunch of. Well, no, and I have a bunch of reasons I can't at the moment. So I don't know. I just think it'd be worth our time to maybe table it, think about it, or unless somebody has somebody that is lined up.
Do you know anybody that would be great on that?
I think me and Mahir can put somebody together. I'm nominating Mahir to help me find the nominee.
No problem
We
with that.
have to get them a name or a nominee prior to October the 15th.
Do we have a meeting between now and
I
then?
believe that we do. I don't have my
Yes,
calendar.
we do.
We do.
October the 10th or
Yes.
9th, I believe.
By October 10th, you need
So we
need
can
one
bring
name.
this back. And you can nominate,
I'd love for Pat Murphy to do it. Pat's, I don't know if he would, but, I mean, he's got more knowledge of kind of a good array of Lamar County, and he has the ability to, and obviously has the accolades to prove in the time. I don't know if he would do it. I would say somebody like him would be the
you can
right choice.
you can nominate more than one person, but the problem that you're going to get into is if you end up sending two nominations over there, or two nominees, we may not have, or you all may not have a seat at the board. There's only 5 seats, and there's 12 taxing entities. So just, it would be good if you all can come together on one person.
So, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, Mayor, City Attorney, can we make a motion to have if council agrees, to have a committee of 2, of Mahir and Clayton, to come up with that name and bring it back to us?
You certainly can. What you would want to do tonight is, you don't have to have a motion to put together. If they both agree to work on it together, that's fine. But you would need a motion to table this item and bring it back on October 10th.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
we'll bring it off the table at that time.
I just think in the next 2 years, you're going to see a lot of activity. So there's a lot of activity there now.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see it for the next 24 months, especially.
I agree. Mr. Clayton, you want to-
I move to
Make the motion.
table item 30.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. For table item number 30. Until
October the 10th.
October 10th.
It's the 10th.
Item number 31, discuss and act on the ordinance authorizing the issuance of solid waste collection permit to Bryce Cunningham, DBA Prod D LLC. Staff, do you have a presentation?
Okay, yes, and let me back up. That meeting will be October the 9th.
The 9th, thank you, correction.
Thank you. Okay, items 31 and 32 I'll do together. Pro D and CB Rentals are both new solid waste companies to Paris. They have submitted their applications and their required insurance certificates. Staff recommends issuance of solid waste collection permits to these 2 new companies, and each ordinance will require a separate vote and 5 affirmative votes for passage.
Okay, is there any discussion?
I just have a question. I know we approved these solid waste permits are these small companies or something?
Yes, they are small.
And what do they pick up? I mean,
It's going to be like the roll-offs, like if I'm cleaning out my parents' house and I want to rent a roll-off or a dumpster, then they would bring it and I would dump the house out, and then they take it to the landfill.
Okay, I saw that today on my street, yeah. Okay.
In our recent solid waste agreement, we excluded temporary roll-offs as part of that. That's a lot of your smaller, your like you said, the debris cleanup, the demolition of houses, cleaning out your house kind of thing.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 32, discuss an act on an ordinance authorizing the issuance of solid waste collection permit to Benton Cobb, DBA CB Reynolds LLC. Staff.
We're recommending approval of this ordinance as well. They're another new company, and they've submitted all the required paperwork.
Is there any discussion? All right, I hear a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item 33, discuss and act on an ordinance authorizing and directing Director of the Finance to transfer funds from unencumbered appropriation balances to overextended accounts from FY 2022 to 2023.
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, normally this time of each year, as we come to the end of our budget year, we need to do a little housekeeping, cleaning up the budget allowances for some departments. Some departments go over, some go under, and we have to kind of move the money around, the appropriated money around in order for us to follow our charter. And the ordinance before you does that. There are certain departments that are over, certain that are under, but as we move that money around, we won't actually have to increase the general fund budget to do that. The total will stay the same. We're just shifting money from some departments to another. I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have about that.
Any questions? Is there any further discussion? I hear a motion.
So moved.
Your second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item 34, discuss and act on a resolution confirming the appointment of Robert Vine as Deputy City Manager pursuant to Paris City Charter, Section 21. Mr. Path?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, items 34 and 35 are continued formal steps following the approval of the budget for 23-24. As part of the budget, City Council authorized the promotion of Doug Harris to Assistant City Manager, and with that, we also have the shifting of Rob Vine to Deputy Manager for hierarchical type purposes. So, with this, pursuant to the charter. I do bring to you my appointments for your approval, and so keeping with that, we have a resolution in front of you for Mr. Vine as Deputy Manager, and then a resolution for Mr. Harris as Assistant Manager.
Is there any discussion?
Just want to make the point again that we know that throughout the city, there's been some, I guess, for lack of a better term, dissension, disapproval of these moves. I mean, I'm talking about both of them together, 34 and 35. And, as we talk about it, citizens just want to see a bang for their buck. Mm-hmm. And not only these two positions, but we've created other positions, in the budget approval. And one is, and I hope I'm not getting off the subject here, but I'm just going to say jobs, some of the positions that we have put out there that people want to see some flow, some process movement, because some things have been really stagnant. We hear the complaints all the time, all of us, including y'all, including staff. So people just want to see a bang for the buck. So I have no problem with it. I understand about restructuring and the benefits of it, but we just don't restructure just to be restructuring. We do it to benefit the city. So the citizens that I talk to, they just want to see a bang for their buck.
Absolutely.
It's okay to discuss?
Yes.
Okay. I will say this too, that some of the things that I've heard from folks is similar to what Councilmember Savage has stated, but I've also stated to them to say, hey, look at all the good that the city is doing. There's a lot of things happening, and that wouldn't happen if there were
just one person at the helm. It helps to have a team effort. So I just want to say we're moving in the right direction in this community. We've got a heck of a council, we've got a heck of a city staff, and I think everyone's really hard at work trying to make this a team effort. So I like the positive movement.
Yeah, as you see in the job descriptions, there's over 14 different direct assigns between the three of us. That's a big span of control for one person, and we have over 30 departments, and so it's kind of, I know some people, they think the city manager should be the one in every meeting. If you want efficiency and speed, or do you want city manager in every meeting, you can't always have both. I wish I could be every place at all times, but I can't, and unfortunately, I got to go home and see my family too. And so that's why we do delegate and we divide and conquer, so.
And that's a great point, that most citizens don't come to city council meetings. Most citizens don't watch it on Facebook Live. They don't sit in the meetings that we sit in, and they don't see that chart that you put up. And so they have those doubts. And that's been my point, that we've seen movement since, even with the addition of Mr. Vine and things like that, we've seen movement. So that's why I made the point that they just want to see more movement.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I echo Mr. Savage and Mr. Pankage in the sense that we've had some pretty significant industry look at us. Some have picked us, some have, we didn't win. We didn't win because we weren't the right choice for them. It wasn't because we didn't try. I think as Paris grows, which we've seen some pretty significant growth in the last couple of years, we've got a lot of residential growth finally coming into the city, not in the county, a lot in the county, but more concentrated in the city, which is really good. But as we grow, I would much rather us be positioned staff-wise, which this really gets us in that direction. But this positions us staff-wise to whenever we have an industry come in and ask. Usually has a tight timeline, that's the big thing. Also, and B, ask a lot of questions that a city manager knows a lot of, but when you have a couple different department heads that are significantly versed in those things, that it helps a lot. Now we've put together our engineering department, which is great to be able to add that piece of the puzzle, and it's a spoke in a wheel, and this is another spoke that I think we need. Down the road, I think it's going to be something that we're ahead of the growth. And I big government and more expense and more cost, I don't like. This is not a big cost item, I don't think. And we're retaining some exceptional talent that we already have on our staff. And it's a needed thing that if we're going to grow, and that's what we're minded to do in Paris, the citizens are minded to do, the majority anyway, you got to do it. So I'm behind Mr. Path, and he's got two exceptional assistants and deputies. I'm going to call them both team members. But anyway, I'm behind you 100% on it.
And you make a good point that this is not a brand new position on top of what we have. This is actually a reclassification of an existing. We're going to unfund a position to put one in its place. But since we had the in-house talent in Mr. Harris, to me it seems irresponsible not to tap into that for the good of our community.
Absolutely.
Mr. Harris has skills and abilities that I know that we can use to a much higher scale, a much higher level, that are basically going unused. I mean, nothing against Mr. Harris, his job, but we're not tapping into that because we've not asked him to do more. And this is going to let him to do more and really get out there and help us. And so I'm really excited to have him take on more responsibility and get more things done, and it also frees up Rob and I more so we can do the good job we do in our focused area. So again, if it wasn't for Mr. Harris, I wouldn't be asking for this. So, but with Mr. Harris, I know we've got an untapped asset there that we can definitely expand on and use to benefit our community.
All right, is there any further discussion? There a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 35, discuss and act on a resolution confirming the appointment of Doug Harris as Assistant City Manager pursuant to Paris City Charter, Section 21. Staff.
Same as last agenda item.
All right, is there further discussion? I hear a motion.
So moved.
There's second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item 36, discuss and consider the request by Waste Connections Lone Star, Inc. to increase the landfill services agreement rate of payment of by 5%. Staff?
Yes, Mayor, Pro Tem, members of council, we received we received it, it was dated September 1st. We received around September 19th a request by Waste Connection Lone Star doing business as Sanitation Solution to increase the Blossom landfill rate by 5%. As you recall, back in September 2021, we entered into a 10-year agreement with Waste Connection for access to their landfill for our municipal solid waste. The rates are shown, the current rates are shown on your agenda memo. Pursuant to the agreement, the rates were to stay the same for 2 years. At that point, they could then come to the city requesting a rate increase not to exceed 5%. The language in the agreement does spell out the CPI index we would utilize to examine this. So while they did get some of their math incorrect, their request of 5% is correct under the terms of the agreement. And so with this, we prepared a letter to send back to them authorizing that this rate increase occur. And yes, and so that's our recommendation, not that we would authorize the increase of 5% pursuant to the terms of the agreement.
Was there any discussion?
And I should add too that when we looked at the cards agreement, we had put in the cards a $6 per month administrative fee to help cover this. Of course, we weren't aware of the rate increase at the time we calculated that, but whenever we recalculated the numbers with the 5%, our $6 should be enough to absorb that. We had added a little bit of contingency just in case of things like this. And so we should be good. If that's wrong, we'll come back to you in the future and request a change for that. But otherwise, we should be able to absorb, given known solid waste tonnage, we should be able to absorb this 5% increase with the current proposed $6 per account per month. So,
We'll hear a motion.
So moved.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. You got a question?
This is in the contract, this is what it,
I'm sorry. Say it again.
this is a normal ask?
Yes, in the contract under section 6D and 6C, they have the right to come to us. Now, I believe, as I read it here, let me double check before I say anything here. Okay, it says contractors shall have the right to request an increase in the base rates based on the same percentage of CPI, So I don't think that precludes you from denying it. But the request does seem valid based off CPI. And I know they have costs to do service. The actual CPI, if you went off of that, would be a 13% rate increase. So this is a very good contract for us. We're limited at 5%. Then from this point going forward, it'd be an annual, so it'd be every 12 months. This is a 2-year, so we did negotiate a 24-month look at this. So this is a good based off of the CPI this is a good rate. And I also did add in there, we did notice, this is a side point, that we had not received our annual donation of $5,000, so we are requesting officially that be paid as well.
What if they don't pay that donation? Is that, I saw that it's in the agreement.
That's the terms of the agreement to be honored, and so.
Well, it would technically be a breach of the agreement, and we would then probably go into executive session to talk about the legality behind all of that, and then make a decision.
I don't foresee a problem at this point here, but if there is, we will definitely let you know.
Is there any further discussion?
Make the motion, we approve item 36.
There's a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item 37, consider and approve future events for the city council and our city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081. Just want to remind everyone that tomorrow evening at the first of our West Paris Town Hall meetings will take place at 6:00 p.m. at Justice Elementary School.
I had one thing.
Yes, sir.
I know that the city has teamed up with PSA to help out to continue the soccer program for the youth. And it's kicked off after that last meeting. And folks have been very complimentary of the city staff and everyone working together as a community to get that soccer organization to continue. So I just wanted to give those praises to everyone, and folks were really happy about that. So just wanted to note that.
Praise definitely goes to Mr. Vine, Mr. Smith, and Mr. Lowranger. They handled that. They took it from me, and they handled the whole thing from start to finish. So they did a great job on that.
Yeah, and just one thing, I'd like an update, maybe in the future, on the pickleball process, you know, where we at in that process, the pickleball courts on Culbertson Park.
All right, anything further?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second? We adjourn.
All of us second.